definitely not illegal. And of course, there are rules about that because only certain people can, shout in certain places and, pay tax. And of course, everything is taxed, etc. You guys managed to finagle all that way. And I'm going to tell you that the best you could find is you find 12 people who are obviously veteran Marines. You can tell from these guys, from these wolves and zebras and jackals and sea rats, that they're definitely blooded, seasoned Marines. The other guys that you interview, you're not that convinced about. So you whittle it down to 12 possible candidates. You find about 24 people who are easily sailors. In other words, they're willing to be on pirate ships and, they're willing to work the ship and, sail the ship. But and they can fire cannons, be pressed in the service, but they're sailors, not Marines. So they're better at sailing, but worse at killing people.
I mean, they're not Marines yet.
Right.
And
the Marines is, yeah. So in other words, if you look in the book, the Marines have the Marine write-up and the sailors have the sailor write-up. So the Marines actually have combat skills and the sailors have transport, the vehicle skill.
And the ship we're looking at can hold 60 for a crew and has less than 30.
Right. When I said 20 peasants here in the chat, I meant 20 people who you're not entirely sure, if they've got. In fact, I should probably list them as 20 laborers, which is they have useful skills like craft and transport, but they're not sailors and they're not Marines. But beggars can't be choosers, and you think all of these people were chosen because if you're paying the coin, you think they are loyal, as in they will stay bought. Everyone else that you interviewed, you think is either disloyal or unskilled.
Stabbing McLarson just didn't seem like a good idea.
Of course, it is possible that someone snuck in upon the group that we don't know anything specific about.
With 3 successes, you had some people you thought might be shady or might be spies. Since the Anatolian government occupies the place remotely, 1 or 2 of these people might be a spy, but you just kind of punted them because you thought they were shady. Plus, also, they might also be spies. Calabria, especially the Biscove, because the Biscove are very active in piracy and other issues, also hire spies. So some of these guys, if they're too well-spoken or too friendly, it's like, he's too friendly. Rikija chooses to flatter himself by thinking, oh, the Biscove is spying on me because I think my claim to the throne is legitimate. And thus have sent agents to watch me. And I think Sam just kind of goes, yes, that's exactly what they're doing. All the more reason to reject Shmeem's bond here. So now, in order to hire these people and make them loyal, they're going to want money up front. In order to get money up front, our rich guy can go to one of the banks that will honor his claim, and he can tap his gift of wealth to get enough money to pay these guys. And most importantly, you'll have some left over to gird them up if you want to gird them with honest steel weapons. You might also have the possibility of girding them up with pistols, since you are a noble and are allowed to buy pistols. Do you want to arm some of these guys with guns?
This comes down to a matter of budget at this point. How much for tapping wealth would I receive?
If you tap your gift of wealth, you can pay all of these guys for the week you need them to seize the ship. You could either pay, I'll leave it this way, you can either pay everybody for a month or pay everybody for a week and give all 12 Marines pistols.
I'm honestly not interested in taking every single Marine. We're gonna need some sailors to make sure that the ship runs smooth. Because
no, I'm saying right now you could hire 12, 24, and 20. You could hire all of these guys.
Yeah.
And that would fill up the entire ship, more or less.
Basically, you would have your own crew. This would be usurping the crew.
We'd be good. Basically, we'd all be cool.
I mean, you would be able to make good on your claim of we're going when you show up and say, "Hey, I brought my own crew. This ship is mine now." Some of the other guys might say, "You don't have enough people." If you showed up with all 50 of these guys and said, "This is my ship now, and you're joining my crew," this will like completely legitimize your claim.
The frigate is cruise what 60?
60. It's a frigate.
Should I just take the 36 Marines and sailors? I don't know if I want to.
You could take the 12 Marines and the 24 sailors, and you would have a sizable crew, if not a complete crew. You could, but when the stand down happens, when you say we're in charge of the ship, it will weaken your case. You'll just have to roll better, or some other complication would happen. So go with the full set or go with a partial set.
I would highly suggest the full set. Even if the laborers aren't seaworthy now, they can be so later. And hey, sometimes you just need people to carry boxes.
Wait, hold on. Are we hiring literally all of these people?
I mean, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, and also it's a frigate. I mean, even Captain Sam, you can tell you need people to tote bales, tie ropes. They may not have their sea legs because they're not actual people, but who knows? They could grow into it, and if not, you only need them for this claim. You could fire them at the next port.
Yes, that's true. Sure.
They can
Why not?
definitely fix broken stuff, and most importantly, carry heavy loads.
And another thing is, if we want to equip them, that's fine and everything. But I'm also certain that me and Zeta can also, act as several guns.
Right. Since you guys are nobles, you are allowed to carry guns openly because you are nobles. Regular
the peasants.
Yeah, commoners would not be allowed to carry guns openly.
If we're hired on officially as one of the nobles, like I wouldn't say hired arm, but like personal like task force, are we allowed to carry guns then?
Well, you're nobles. You're just allowed to carry guns.
Well, no, I'm just some random assassin,
Oh,
But
wait.
Due to association and possible legitimate hiring.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Ada, the right to bear arms is not universally recognized. See, the book uses the word prescribed, which is if you wander around the docks carrying a gun and any policeman decides they don't like you for some reason or wants to hassle you, can just arrest you.
Oh, then they get stabbed. They're expecting the bullet, but they don't think the knife.
Right, and then you'd murder a policeman, and this will start your character's rapid downward spiral into being,
Not to mention your sleeve sword is also prescribed.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Concealed blades are also illegal.
It's when he kicked that guy's body into the ocean, so they couldn't figure out what killed him.
Right. I mean, no one kind of saw that, and also, I mean, I'm just. I know people are used to role-playing games where you wander right up to the king while carrying your giant two-handed sword with your soul destruction wand in the other hand, and no one says...
No, I'm not doing shit like that. I'm just saying it's like because of association and possible legal hiring, is it like basically a field effect of him like, oh, he works for that guy, so let's not fuck with him without the weapon.
You could make the case, yes. I'm just suggesting you don't want to carry a gun out in the open.
Yeah, using clout sounds pretty legitimate.
Right, and in fact, that's one of the uses of nobility, because you could tap your nobility and say, "Oh no, this person, this commoner is with me." It's like I'm waving my hands here to kind of say like, you could make a case for it. Then it would probably be a die roll to convince people. So I'm just mentioning like in Ironclaw is more like Game of Thrones. The heads that stick out get cut off. So.
I guess we need it.
But also, you got legerdemain, so you can conceal a pistol, no problem. I don't know why you wouldn't.
No, I know.
In
I'm
fact,
just asking because it's a good thing to ask, so the rest of the crew can start developing strategy and.
Right. I mean, if you bought guns for the rest of the crew, they would have to take them on board the boat, and they wouldn't wander around town. Well, look at me! I got a gun! Whee! I'm just talking like if you wanted to arm them with guns and said we're taking over the ship. All 12 of those guys would, turn their cloaks aside and show, hey, we all brought pistols.
I'm surprised no one tried to make Batman in this game.
And they would point at the pistols and point at the captain and say, see, we're with him. You should be with him too. I'm just pointing out here the more force you use. So I'm guessing you're going to hire that crew for a month then, right?
Do you want to arm them or not arm them?
And not get the guns?
I mean, I would probably arm them with some good blades, but I don't know if I'd be comfortable, especially given that you can one-shot somebody, apparently.
So,
giving them
and that's
guns.
also legit, too, because you might decide, because you just want the boat for right now, so you can sail it and get some legitimacy. I mean, those guys would basically, you would also keep those guns and be able to use those guns later if you got into a boarding action with someone else.
I mean,
Otherwise,
granted,
you get into a boarding action
I was about to say the same thing, and I agree.
Yeah,
I mean,
But
I'll
now
maybe
more
purchase
later.
I'll maybe purchase a few of them,
okay.
like
How many?
gun like half of the Marines. But I mean, I don't want to give them to everyone because
Okay.
they could be fucking traitors.
Okay, well, no, that sounds good. So you've got 6 gunner Marines, 6 blade Marines.
A bastard son is always on the watch.
Okay, 20 unskilled laborers and 24 sailors.
And now
All of them fiercely loyal to you.
Fiercely.
Well, you're paying the bill, so
Well, you paid us for 2 weeks, boss. We're loyal to you for 2 weeks.
Da-da-da.
I murdered my own mother for 2 weeks' pay. I murdered your mother for 2 weeks' pay. Really? Thanks.
Man.
You assemble your crew. So when you you'll pay a visit to the Samira estate because she told you where she lives. She lives in a nice house. So, Rakija Di Rinaldi, do you write the letter and submit it to Madame Samira, thus cementing yourself as a rebel sympathizer?
You make it sound so bad.
Well, you could hire an assassin to break into the house and burn the letter.
I mean,
Yeah,
I was probably going to.
Quote exists exactly for removing our paper
Right.
trail, so just deal with it. Do it now,
but you-
and then we'll deal with it later.
But
Yeah.
you do draft.
well,
But
at
you
the
do,
very least, you're on a different continent than the place you're trying to be a traitor to.
I'm
Alright,
writing it.
so
No, he's not. He's on
I
the
mean-
continent.
all right,
Alright.
guys, we're getting a
You
little
need,
yak here.
you need a paper trail burned? Okay, I need like a bottle of alcohol and some fire. Just throw
Yeah.
some Molotov cocktails.
I have fire.
Hey, did you guys shush?
It's medieval paper. It burns real well. All right, so you'll draft the letter. I'm assuming you're not going to try to make any weasel words or dick moves in the letter, Rakija, because you have to write the letter first and give it to her, and then she has to give you the 20%.
Yeah. I'm going to bold-faced all confident.
All right. Now, there's another rule in the game called the rote, and the rote is very simple. It just means instead of rolling dice, for every 2 dice, you just get 1 success. So you've got mind and academics, right? Because you've got 1 die in mind and 1 die in academics.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because you have marks in academics. Right. So you have 2 dice. So you can just write a 1 success letter and be done with it. So, in other words, in game terms, I'm not going to ask you to roll. You can write a 1 success letter. So you do. And also, no one cares if you fail this roll. It's not a big deal. So you will draft that letter. The next day, and also you guys could be doing this simultaneously hiring the crew. The next day, a page will come and deliver a letter to you because it's the Middle Ages, so we have page mail or P-mail, where someone finds you and gives you a note that is notarized by some clerk in the Sultanate government, not the Anatolian government, but the Sultanate-occupied government, that you are now the holder of 20% stake in the Theophanos.
Imagine how incredibly unfortunate it is to be a page and have to just run around all day doing all of your master's just annoying bullshit.
What? It's a much better... what? And be in the workhouse? I get fresh air.
That's fair.
Under a specialty of the medieval ages where the phrase actually makes sense. Don't shoot the messenger.
I could go on with the Three Musketeers, but in the interest of brevity. All right, so you've got the note, and hanging around this. So there's this one bar in town where there's 12 Marines, 20 sailors, all sitting there like, mumble, and one very nervous innkeeper.
I say before we go and mutiny this shit, I say that we all get drunk.
No, not before.
No. Are we mugging a bar for beer?
No, you're not mugging.
before.
I mean, they're all hanging out waiting for your orders. You paid us for 2 weeks.
I mean, it would be cool to drink for a night. It would be cool to drink for a night, but honestly, that might imply hangover penalties.
Well, in fact, when you go see the crew are in high spirits because they've been fed, but they are reasonably competent enough that they're not drunk.
Yeah.
So enforcing them to drink might cause.
Do you want to do this during the day, brazenly, or do you want to do this during the night with, skullduggery?
General thuggery banned at Capcom.
I mean, if none of you have a choice, the final choice is Rikija, who has the legitimacy.
I mean, personally, I'd rather do it bold-faced in the daytime, but I think everyone else was looking for waiting until the night, and I'd rather not.
Well,
I'd
we're
rather not
legitimate
sour the
owners with a
spirit.
legitimate crew wanting to legitimately use our part of the ship to go
That's
somewhere and
legitimate.
do something now. So once we go out onto the water, no one will care how brazen we are.
P68.
All right, so day or night?
I say day.
What would we be going out onto the water to do? Because it's not going to be a very convincing half-truth, I suppose, if we're going to kind of muscle our way onto the ship and then have nowhere in mind to be going.
The reason why you would set sail immediately is because if you seize the ship by force, you don't necessarily have to set out immediately. You could just seize the ship and have the crew on it while you forge the letter, if you're not worried about any reprisals. Or you could, if you're worried about, failing the forgery or worried about its legitimacy, you could just seize the ship and sail out. But you don't have to sail out immediately. You just want to occupy the ship. It's occupy frigate. All right, so Rikija, day or night? Because we're burning daylight here.
I'll do it nighttime because I think everyone else wants nighttime.
All right. The sun sets over Sun City. At first, there's this brilliant red sunlight, and then it is dark. You rally your crew, bang pots or whatever. The keeper goes, "Oh, thank God."
Before we leave, I want to make sure to gather a couple celebratory casks for when this is all over.
You have enough money left over from wealth that the innkeeper will happily says, "So you want to buy my beer? Or sorry, you want to buy my wine?" I'm sorry. My honey mead. That's what we have here.
Yes.
Wait. Yeah, honey mead, definitely. So you want to buy my honey mead and then take it far away and get drunk somewhere else? Done and done.
You seem excited. How about a deal? Discount.
You since you tapped your wealth to hire a bunch of these guys in the first place and you have haggling, I will just let it go. So
I didn't even. I'm not even him. I'm just someone just mentioning this in the background.
The only deal is you have to carry it out yourself. But fortunately, you hired 20 skilled laborers to do that. We call them, stevedores is the word we're looking for here. So you get the guys to carry it. Don't open this till we win, and if we lose, throw them in the ocean.
Set them on fire, and we'll use them as weapons.
Honey mead burns terribly.
Screw it. We'll add more vodka to it.
We'll add more vodka to it. So you're making honey mead Molotovs. This is the worst party ever. So
hey, I never said I was expert at explosives. I just know that alcohol burns and explodes when a vacuum shatters.
When you get to the Theophanis, it is riding high in the water because it is unloaded, and there is no gangplank out. There are a couple of bored-looking foxes and water rats, up top. They basically just seem to be bored and every now and then staring at ropes to make sure they don't come untied. They look a little concerned when they see your motley crew with torches and swords and casks and guns march up the dock. Oh, sorry, you probably wouldn't have torches. You would probably have
in the distance.
punks and storm lanterns when you guys march up the dock. But the gangplank isn't down, so the guys just kind of stare at you. What do you do?
Lower the gangplank.
Hey, hello? The rat guy's leader. Who the crummy heck are you?
Can I use body and skill to climb?
Well, you could climb, or you could announce yourselves.
I was just gonna climb in and sneak through and just lower the gangplank on a failure chance.
You could do that. Go ahead and jump in the water. It's a roll of body and swimming.
I don't know. Can I stealth?
Donovan will very simply fly up there and address them without having to shout.
Ah, it's a raven! That's a bad omen.
Oh no!
Can I jump up there as a cheetah?
What do you want, witchbird?
Well, thank you, but I'm here to announce the arrival of the new shareholder of this ship.
Why should we believe anything you say? What skills do you have useful to convince us you're telling the truth?
Negotiation.
That would be the best skill to convince us you're telling the truth. Make a roll. I'm assuming you're trying to reason with us, so it's mind and negotiation.
Correct.
You could roll deceit, but I don't think you're actually lying.
I am absolutely not lying. We have 20% of the ship, and we just want to come on board.
Yep. And the usual rule is the more skills you throw into something, the more successes it requires. Like if it's going to be a role that requires at least 2 skills, it's probably going to require at least 2 successes to pull it off with any accuracy. So while a lot of players ask me that, it's like, can I throw my deceit in? Don't throw your deceit in unless you're a good liar.
Yeah.
And unless you have something to lie about. Because it will require more to convince them. All right, we'll go ahead and make a roll of mind negotiation, Donovan.
All right, I am being truthful.
Donovan, you may also roll a bonus D8 because not only are you telling the truth, but I mean, they only have to look down there and he can flash his signet ring.
3, 2,
believe
and
you.
2.
Now, this is another time to point out you've rolled no 4s or better. So you just over there, I can't with this guy and he wants to board the boat. And it's like these guys looking, I don't think any good can come of this. So they're not convinced. So I want to now everyone starts the game with a gift called personality. Donovan, what is your personality?
1 second. I already forgot it. Obsessive.
Well, if you can prove to me that you like recount in obsessive detail all of the ownership and details of Rikiji's 20% stake and basically argue with them until they give in to your obsessive compulsion, you could tap personality and roll a bonus D12.
I can tell you very well about Madame Samira has given this to us herself. We had a very lovely tea.
Shut up already, Witchbird. Go ahead and roll. Tap. Personality gets tapped. You have to recharge it the next day. It recharges after you sleep. Go ahead and roll a D12.
All right,
That is example claiming a personality bonus. That's how it works. So just roll a D12.
6.
That gives you the 1 success. Well, they go, well,
I bore them so much.
all right, we believe you. They will lower the gangplank. And so your crew can go ahead and march aboard the boat.
We're now taking possession of this boat.
What? That bird said you just had a 20% stake and you're allowed to come up here.
No, I mean, we're actually, I'm not saying anything. I'm just joking.
Yeah, it's like the guys have hired a whole, like, all right, the 6 guys that are up there kind of look kind of funny when the new crew guys come up there. This looks like a pretty good boat. All the birds,
Who is the most, of the crew we hired, who has the most murdery face? Because I'm going to call him Murder Face.
What's the most tasery face?
Well, if you're just going to call him Murder Face, then his name is now Murder Face.
Yo, Murder Face. Help me out with these intimidation checks.
Listen up, you guys. Wait, I'm sorry. You hired the guy with the most murdery face. Okay, listen up, you guys. Dorsey has a voice talks like this. My name is Mickey the Murderer.
No, I use that same voice for the Fallout guy, the pit boy.
Of course. My boss is I'm Mickey the Murderer, and now you're all gonna serve Captain Rikichi. Or
I'm the shareholder. Don't worry.
Or blades will be flashing and I'll have your guts for garters! Woo! Sorry, I have to pause a moment while I totally lose it. Okay, so the other kind of crew, the other crew members, you know, they look kind of like in rags and they might have a little ashen faces. They seem moved by your petition that you say you're going to seize the boat and march into the captain's quarters. I'm going to ask, what sort of skills do you have to impress people with your force of arms? The usual skill for that is presence.
I do have
Who has presence? I do not actually have presence.
I believe the
have
Raven
3
does.
in leadership.
Unfortunately, not actually. I am rather thin on other skills for magic right now.
Actually, I'm willing to listen to this. You could also do rousing. You could give a rousing speech worthy of a Captain Jack Sparrow and say, you know, listen to me, you know, men, women, half men, and things. I am Captain Sam, and I were your previous, you know, captain. Let you know your bills go, you know, skipped payments. Asked you to work twice as hard for half the pay. I am an honest and just captain, and with me you will reap great, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Do you want to try and do that, Captain Sam?
Do it.
I don't want to give much of a rousing speech. I just want to step up and I want to go. This guy over here, and I want to point at Rakija, has more money than what your captain is paying.
Okay. I can't think of any better use of leadership than he's going to pay more money. And in fact, since you're mentioning the money and that they'll get a pay raise, you're the one with haggling, isn't that right, Turtle John?
I am.
We'll give you
All right.
1 extra gold face.
Then I will suggest, I'd like you to go ahead and roll, not gold, dude. We get paid in the silver standard here. Gold is like a couple hundred, you know, like 30 septims. Don't do that.
Can
Give you 1 extra day.
So here's what I'm going to propose. When Captain Sam makes his speech, I'd like Captain Sam to roll his will, his leadership. I will give him a haggling of D12, and I will give him a bonus 2D8. And it's a bonus D8 because you showed up with a huge crew, and another bonus D8 because you had Mickey the Murderer intimidate everybody. Does anyone else?
Can I
All right,
can I
so
pipe up and be like, yeah, that's accurate.
In which case, when you say that's accurate, I'll need you to make a roll of will and leadership and haggling as well. Don't roll all ones, or you'll say something stupid.
my
You said-
will.
wait, you
my
said will?
leadership,
Will
And then-
and leadership, because you're
And-
appealing to the emotions, so it's will.
And then leadership, and then what was the other one?
It would be haggling if you had haggling, which you don't.
Okay.
Can I add my
Well, then it's just the 2 of those then?
Can I add negotiation to this?
Not to this, because you're asking them to surrender. Wait, who has the negotiation? Wait, who's talking?
Captain.
Oh, the captain. Yeah, sure. Add your negotiation in there too, because you are saying, look, you guys need to serve me, or you know, we're gonna throw you off the boat. Okay, and yes, go ahead and make a roll. Well, first, Nicholas, roll to assist, because if Nicholas rolls all ones, this will be hilarious.
That's all successes as far as I can tell.
Oh, I rolled 2
Nicholas gives
successes.
you a bonus D8.
As though it matters.
All successes. I
right.
failed on your 1d8. You
Yeah.
were not helpful at all.
And Rikichi was there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I told him to do that.
This is massively successful.
Well, that's I mean, you got and I've had, you know, welcome to Ironclaw, a game of anticlimaxes. So you guys did everything correctly and made all your rolls. Congratulations. The crew says, well, they did skip our last paycheck, and you did bring your whole crew. So you guys seem legit. So I guess I'll go wake up the captain.
In this situation of this, saying they skipped their paycheck, you're getting 100% pay raise from nothing.
I'll get the captain with extreme prejudice. A rat in a red and white striped shirt wanders off to knock on the uses his key to enter the captain's chambers, and then boom, a large hyena guy storms out of the captain's chambers, waving a cutlass in one hand and an empty bottle in the other one. Says, "Who dares trying to take my ship? You don't have the authority to do this."
Jackal. Should I?
Sorry. It's a hyena. It's a spotted jackal, which a lot of people confuse for a hyena.
Oh,
Jackal.
Close enough.
You guys don't have the authority to do any of this. 20%'s not enough.
Does this guy look like a threat of some sort?
Well, he's brandishing a sword by the right end. So yes.
He's very
Wait, guys, I literally need this. I need this.
I'll fight
Fang,
you.
Fang,
Let's roll initiatives and see who goes first.
Do you know that part where you said that Theurgy is very subtle and maybe he's just very clumsy?
All right, Paul, I need everybody to pause. Since everybody seems they want to be violent, especially Fang, and some of gotta love you, murder hobos. Since you guys are in a race for murder,
I think I'm the only one among us that has a goal where I need to get into a fight right now.
Thana, I don't know what to tell you when your friends are in such a hurry to murder that they will murder someone faster than you can.
Look, Ada, you got in a fucking fight in the middle of the docks. I needed that too.
I don't know why you're getting this idea that I'm fighting. I was just trying to disarm him peacefully.
Right, and to be honest, Donovan would try to disarm him peacefully. So let's go ahead and have Fang and Donovan and anyone else who wants to.
I said I was trying to murder him.
Anyone who wants to participate in the murder must now roll your initiative. Initiative in the game is your speed, your mind, and if you have danger sense, it's a bonus D12.
I got 2 successes. I believe that's focus.
That is focus.
Which means I can interrupt the first person to then do this shit.
Wait, okay.
Speed and mind, right?
All right, so it's speed and mind. You need to count the 4s or better. If you don't get any 4s or better, you stand here with your mouth hanging open because it's like a surprise round.
Okay.
If you scored 1 4 or better, you are allowed to participate this round. And if you rolled 2 4s or better, not only do you get you not only do you get to go first, but you also get 3 actions instead of 2 because you have focus. So it looks like Fang has won out, and his blade is the quickest because he has 2 successes.
Well, then I'm going for the kill.
Unless we can't forget Dark Ninja here. Dark Ninja hasn't rolled yet. Dark Ninja has 2 successes. Okay,
and
so
because I got danger sense as well.
allow me to frame the situation because sometimes players misinterpret. The captain has come out as brandishing a sword, and all of you have suddenly bristled up and are taking arms against him as he takes a defensive posture. Normally, we allow the game master allows the player, we'll have the players go in the, most legit order. But since I don't know where any of you are standing and most of you have melee weapons, I can also just have you go in, the order of who rolled the most successes.
Well, this is
Rare Dark Ninja rolled 2 successes and is the highest roll. Rare, are you going to do something violent, or are you just going to sit there and wait?
No, I will, but I'm gonna let Data go first.
So you wait. Fang, you are next.
I am ambidextrous, which means I pulled out both of my weapons.
I assume you already had your weapons out when you guys came to seize the thing.
Yes, well, the initiative rules are a fickle
I know.
mistress. I am going to tap my tandem strike.
Yep.
To attack with both of my forked staffs.
Okay, so you attack the captain.
Yes.
The captain attempts to counterattack with his sword.
Now, question about positioning here. Is anybody else within threatening range of him?
I am.
I have
Okay.
guns, so probably.
When the captain burst out and came forward to challenge you, he's within near range of all of you.
Okay, so I can use my tactics then.
If you're no one else threatens at this reach range because nobody has reach. The only one who ever Rare Dark Ninja, how are you armed?
Lance. I have a lance.
Since Dark Ninja passed the initiative test and threatens, you may claim tactics.
Okay. So that is D6 and 5
Oh my
D8.
God. You need to roll 4s or better. Every 4 or better you have is a success. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's 5 damage and impaling.
5 damage and impaling.
But also my next attack goes off at the same time as this one does, so you want me to just go ahead and
Right,
roll
so
that?
you roll the other one. When you do a tandem attack, it's 2 rolls against 1 defense. So that's 5 points from the first one and 4 points from the second one. What are you attacking with again?
Fork staff.
2 forked staff. So suddenly the centipede jumps forward. So first I gotta go ahead and soak the 5.1.
Failure.
Yeah,
The assassin steps forward and does what the assassin does.
well, Fang jumps forward, and the captain threatens, and forks him. It's not clear if it's the first fork. The first fork is the one that knocked him. The first fork's the one that knocked him out in the second one. It's a question of which one, because the first one inflicted a dying result, the next one inflicts a dead result.
Oh, I didn't overkill him?
Actually, wait, that is an overkill. You are correct. So, you stick the 2 forks in him, and then I guess when you pull them apart, the captain falls in 3 pieces. The crew who witnessed this when a target is overkilled, all friendlies or neutrals who are near the overkill scream in horror and immediately become afraid and demoralized. So when the captain comes, and then there's a blood rain, and the captain is instantly killed. So exactly 2 of the crew who are already on the ship jump overboard.
Okay, hold on.
All right.
The other guys.
Oh, fuck it, I'm done.
Yeah.
All right.
The other guys hand up their hands and say, "We give up."
I wanted to just say something real quick about that scene.
Sure.
So the guys that jumped over, they're just kind of like bored faced for a second, then just slow motion occurs.
Yeah, that's like
Up, stabs them into the air.
one of them kind of had a bored face and then said, "I can get with the other guy was kind of like looking around, going, I don't think this looks a little legit." All right, that's it. I'm out.
And then the slow motion pans back to the guy who's standing next to him, his face is in complete horror as blood washes it. And then he looks over and sees Murderface chuckling in the background.
Woohoo!
And then
Shining
People
lights.
don't submit to the rule, Captain Sam. Ha! This will be the happiest ship on Earth.
then he proceeds to look over to the side of the boat, and it seems so much more important that he gets there. It's like a beach.
One guy holds up one of the belaying pins and says, "All hail Captain Sam and his giant death bug."
All right.
Wait, what's happening to me?
You are being cheered.
Let that be
yeah.
a warning to the rest of you.
Yeah,
Do
hail
not
Captain Sam.
turn on Captain Sam.
Okay, so we're getting paid and not killed. Fine.
Well,
All right, so congratulations. You have the boat, but you don't quite have the charter yet. But unfortunately, because we've been going on for a while, and I've got stuff to do, so I'm thinking this is probably a good